Hey everyone, welcome back. Glad you could return to another episode of the NES collection. This is part 3, so without further ado, let's get into it. But if you missed part 1 and 2, be sure to take your time and go back and return and check out some of those titles that I have in my collection. Start off with a good one here. In my opinion, this is an improvement over the first one. Oddly enough, though, I don't have the first one in my collection for some reason. But this is Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. One I did play back in the day. It was either a rental or it was a friend's game. But we did finish it. Did finish the first one as well. This one I did not finish. This is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. This was a pickup from this year, if I recall correctly, through a lot pickup. It was one of the NES games in there. I don't think, in my opinion, it's as good as the second or first one. First one's definitely there for nostalgia's sake. Second one's there for playability. And this one, to me, just doesn't seem to hold up as well. This was my childhood one, though I don't have the boxer manual, which is a little strange for me. I don't know where they would have went. Just look on my shelf. Maybe my brother took it by mistake or something. Contra, everybody's favorite NES game. Definitely a must-have. One that's always retained playability and value over the years. Basically just because it's a good game. And obviously everyone knows it for the Konami code. This was definitely a rental back when I was a kid. And I should maybe find an upgrade. The label is mint. Unfortunately, just has a little bit of bubbling on it due to, I guess, the glue's weakening. But this is Crystallis, however you want to pronounce it. Excellent RPG. Yeah, very similar to, what do I want to compare it to? It'll come to me later. I'm having a brain fart right now. But definitely a good RPG. Really enjoy the gameplay for this one. It'll come to me which one I'm comparing it to. Not a great game. Probably just picked it up because of the name. Defender. This is Defender 2. Obviously, it's a shoot 'em up. You can't tell you much about it. But this game is fun, as well as the first one. Dig Dug 2. Definitely one that I don't know if they've improved it compared to the first one, but definitely fun gameplay. Another one that's fun for nostalgia's sake, Donkey Kong Classics. This was an arcade favorite for me. I knew I lost a boatload of quarters on this one. I remember I used to always stare at this cover for some reason with these two guys showing off the gun show here, but this is Double Dragon. The arcade obviously is the better version of it, but the NES one holds up. I think this one is better though as well. It seems to have a theme here where the sequels tend to be better. Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. I kind of prefer this one over the first Double Dragon. This was a purchase when I was a kid, and I remember being disappointed by it. I don't recall. I don't have the box. Again, something happened to a bunch of my boxes. I don't know what happened to them. I lost them in a move or something. This was a purchase as a kid, and I remember being disappointed. As I said, The box cover made it seem a lot better than what it was to me at the time. This is Dragon Spirit, the New Legend. Now, if you ask a lot of people, I should explain, it's a top-down vertical shooter whereby you're the dragon. It shows you're there at the sword, but you're actually the dragon. Can't recall if you get changed into a dragon, and that's why, but whatever. A lot of people enjoy this as a shooter. I remember finding it extremely difficult. You get air targets and land targets, but the land targets can only be killed by shooting off bombs. And then your upgrades where you would go from either a single to double to triple, or double-headed dragon to triple-headed dragon. I don't recall exactly which one you start off with. I think you start off with a single. And then eventually you can upgrade to triple, if I remember correctly. I appreciate it more now than I did back then. It was one of those ones where I had to convince myself to like it just because of the cost of the games. This is my playable copy of Dragon Warrior. Remember in part 1 I showed you my complete and boxed one, and then my sealed Dragon Warrior game. And here's my loose cart of Dragon Warrior. One of the staples, obviously, as I've talked about before, for RPGs, for the NES, right up there with Final Fantasy. I really enjoyed this one as a kid. The next 3 were actually pickups from this year in a lot, and I'm kind of glad I did because they're a little more pricey. I've got the manuals and maps for them, but these are just, I keep those separate. Next we have Dragon Warrior 2. And I'll be honest, I haven't played this one either. I haven't played this one, I should say. It's got a fantastic artwork on the cover there. I've been meaning to settle down and actually play a bunch of old school RPGs. Yeah, I'm going to get around to it at some point. Another one that was part of that pickup this year, Dragon Warrior 3. And finally, Dragon Warrior 4. So that could be a good project to go through, and maybe, God knows I'd be in for a boatload of grinding. Maybe I could start doing 1, 2, 3, and 4 and just play right through them. Duck Hunt. Fun shooter. If you still have the CRT and the light gun. This is a great side-scrolling game. I enjoyed the cartoon too as a kid. Capcom's Ducktales. I don't have number 2, Ducktales 2. And I can't recall if I have any of the Chip and Dale Rangers. I don't think I do. The Rescue Rangers. And which one is the most expensive one? The second one? Another pickup from this year. Don't recall exactly what the gameplay is on this one. I can't remember. But Dungeon Magic, Sword of the Elements. I'm going to go off on a limb and say it's a RPG. It's also battery backup, which is a nice touch. Glad it's not password. This might be one of those first-person dungeon crawlers, I want to say. I'm not 100% on that one. This was a recent pickup, probably within the last month or two. I can't recall exactly. But if you're looking for a baseball game, I know I've been pumped up Bases Loaded as being my favorite for the NES. This is one that I have not tried, but I've heard nothing but good things about. Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball. Apparently this one You've got a whole slew of different characters, each one with their own traits, obviously, and you just build yourself a softball team. It's supposed to be fantastic, so I would highly recommend checking that one out. Can't say much about this one. Elevator action. Yeah, is that the one where you're in the building and then you've got your elevators and you're supposed to make it? You're supposed to take the secret files from the top floor to the bottom floor. Well, it's not Dinosaur Peak, but it is Flintstones, the rescue of Dino and Hoppy. I was going to say Dino there. Dino. This is a fun game that I appreciate more now than I did back in the day because it was a difficult one. But now that you know how to actually fight off the main bad guy, it's a lot more easier. Friday the 13th. I like it. Like I said, more now. But that's mainly so just because I understand the gameplay a lot better. You obviously, you're the character in the game and you have to save the other counselors. I just remember the difficult part was it's the outline of Crystal Lake, and then Jason might be in one of the cabins, but to get to the cabin, I'd always end up pressing the D-pad in the wrong direction because you're supposed to press it. Is it the way that your character's facing? So if it's up here on this side, I believe you have to press the opposite direction and it takes you around. It's one of those confusing gameplays. This game here was more fun in the arcade than it was on the NES, which is unfortunate. Graphics, obviously, just everything was better in the arcade. But Gauntlet, fun four-person, top-down, what do you want to call it? Dungeon game, I guess, where you choose one of four characters: the wizard, the warrior, I forget what the female character's called, and then you could be like the archer or the elf, and you're just supposed to make it out of one level of the dungeon and move on to the next. What I always hated about this game was your health was always declining, and I found that extremely frustrating. I figured I always planned it where you wouldn't lose health unless you got hit, and to fend off hits and also worry about constant health decline, which can only be replaced by potions and food. Just made that game extra difficult. Gauntlet 2, a slight upgrade compared to the first one. This was a rental definitely as a kid. I think, or my cousin had it. I really enjoyed it. This one's super clean label. Golgol 13, Victokai's Golgol. I liked it because I enjoyed the sniper parts of the game where you'd be looking through your scope and then the enemy was in a far off, usually it was like a far off building, like through a window, I believe. And your scope was constantly moving, so you always had to worry about, you had to compensate for that and then wait and take your shot. And then parts of the game were side-scrolling. But the fighting parts of that were kind of wonky. Your character had like a jump kick, if I recall correctly. That was pretty weak. This was a childhood purchase. Again, no box. I don't know where it went. But I enjoyed it. This is Goonies too. Big fan of the movie. Still am. I enjoy the Goonies movie. And the game pretty much lived up to it. Your character is still Mikey in the game. And you start off, your main weapon is Yo-Yo for some reason. I never even came close to finishing this one. This is one of those ones where I always couldn't figure out what to do. Now, I haven't played it since I was a kid, so I might be smarter now to figure it out, or maybe not. Another one I should give a shot at. Fun shooter game, Gunsmoke. I don't think it's too bad. SNK game. This is Guerrilla War. I think I always want to compare this one to like Icarus Warriors, but I can't recall if it's the same top-down vertical style of gameplay or not. I can't recall. But I think I like this one. I know I like this one, and I know I've talked about it already because I showed the box in the first episode of the NES collection. Ice hockey. One of the sports games you must have for your NES. You can choose between a skinny, medium-sized, and oversized hockey player. And just a fun hockey game to play on the ice. This is a fun one, though extremely difficult, and I don't think I appreciated it as a kid when I rented it. This is the Immortal. It's a top-down, diagonal style of gameplay. I forget what it's called at the moment. But you're a wizard, and what I liked about this one is it's finally... A lot of the characters, when you play these sort of RPG games, the wizard's like the weakest one, especially at the start. And this was one where, you know, you could have... you get to one-on-one battles with the enemy characters. And so it'd be you and the enemy, and then you just literally be button mashing to take down their hit points, and then you could do like a kill on them. I can't recall off the NES one if there was blood or not. I think that may have been on another system's version. I showed the box for this one. It made fun of it because it has Fabio on the cover, but Wizards and Warriors 2. I also said that was not as good as the first Wizards and Warriors. I think I recall in this one, your character starts off even like without a helmet, and you got these goofy, oversized eyes or something. That's all I can remember. First Wizards and Warriors is the one you should play, and you should definitely have that in your collection. This is a great shooter game, top-down, vertical scrolling, driving shooter is what I'm going to call it. Jackal. I always enjoy this one. Yeah, was it two-player? It was two-player, wasn't it? I think it was. It's been so long since I've tried it. This is a pickup from this year. This was at a point when I decided to go from buying less quantity and starting to buy more. I hate to say quality because the higher price games aren't always quality. Most of the times are not quality. But they're also getting a little bit harder to come by. But this is Kickmaster. Tried it briefly when I picked it up. I can't recall exactly what the game... I'm pretty sure it's a side-scroller. I thought it was okay. I got to give it more of a go to try it. This next one was... I don't want to say this was my childhood one because I think I remember buying it, and then these were the times, I think, when you could still return games, if I recall correctly. Kid Icarus. I don't think I liked it when I just remember thinking it was so cheap, and you were you were Icarus, and all you were doing was just moving from one level up to the next one, and then just keep on going. I was just extremely disappointed by it. And I think like I said, I still think he had the opportunity to return games back then at that point. So, yeah, I definitely got rid of it. Kirby's Adventure. Everybody loves the little marshmallow guy. I was never crazy about it as a kid. I've grown to appreciate it more, especially over the years. Just the style of gameplay, his cuteness, how you can suck up other enemies' abilities and use it for yourself. This was a pickup from this year, I think from a lot purchase. And I had been eyeing it. It was I can't recall if it was complete in box or if it was just everything but the box. But the price was really high on it to get it complete. I've since got it game and all manuals and everything except for the box. This is a Koei game, which I'm a big fan of. I like their style of gameplay. Some people don't even call it gameplay. Anyway, this is L'Empereur. You know, if you're familiar with Romance of the Kingdoms or any sort of other Koei style of gameplay, like frig. I'm so tired, I can't remember. I know I was trying to think of the Super Nintendo games where you're the ship captain. Damn it. Damn my feeble memory. Anyway, if you're familiar with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms style of gameplays, this is similar to that style. I'm happy to have it in the collection. I don't recall if this one was good or not. It was definitely a rental as a kid. And it's been too long since I played it, but Legacy of the Wizard. Good game. This is Lolo, or sorry, The Adventures of Lolo. I always compare it to sort of, when I think of Lolo, I always think of Kirby, that sort of style. This is a pickup from earlier this year. And I put it inside a protective wrap. I don't know why. But another Konami game. They seem to be always making good ones. This is a Lone Ranger. Nothing extra special about it. I just, it's not one that I ever really came across very often. Not that I was keeping my eye out for it, but certainly one that was, I'd say uncommon, at least for me. The next two are from a series that a lot of people like. I never really got into it as a kid. I never owned any. My cousin was more of a fan of it. I don't have the first two, but I do have this one, Mega Man 3. And I don't recall which one's better. I thought one was a little weaker. Two definitely improved. Maybe three might be for me, the highlight of it, because I know I've tried it. This is Mega Man 4. I think they just got, from this point on, I think they just got worse as they went higher up. Game that I love. I love the franchise. I love almost everything about it. This is Metal Gear. The only disappointment with this one was, you know, we had the Metal Gear mech that you would, you know, you would think that that would have been like one of the main bosses that you fought, and it actually just ends up being a guy that you fight, right? Isn't it? Really simple battle at the end, real easy pattern. A good start to the series. But where they really took off and hit their stride, obviously, was with PS1, PS2 series. But with the 3, what'd they do? Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid. Oh, that was on 2. And then finally, last game for this part of the NES, because it's going on. Another Capcom game. Fun game, if you like them. Side-scrolling. Mickey Mousecapades. Like most Capcom games, most Disney games, I think the Disney ones tend to be, they're fun. They're not, super crazy, but like the Ducktales and the Chip and Dales, it's all that similar style of gameplay. I think it's just whatever you prefer. I think a lot of people obviously prefer, I'd probably say Chip and Dales and then the Ducktales games, and this would be a solid third or fourth, depending on what other titles you want to throw in there. But that's it for part 3 of the NES collection. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for sticking around. And if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, check them out. They're not too long, but they are interesting and entertaining. And we'll see you guys again for part 4 very soon.